What's going on, y'all? Welcome. All right. Wonderful day out here. All right. So, welcome to the Trigger Mike Show. Again, another day for y'all. It's a pretty dark day out here where I live. Listen, I got to give a few disclaimers. All right. It's really dark. It's really rainy. If y'all get any kind of cutoff, that means the power went out. I live in a very newly developed area. All right. So, the power may just go out wildly. I mean, it happens here often, usually right when it starts raining, which is weird. But yeah, either way, we're gonna keep it rolling for y'all, man. We got a good show and a good topic for y'all as you saw it. I need y'all to go ahead and hit that like button for me. Also, welcome to everyone who's able to catch this show in the morning. I really appreciate y'all for taking time out of your day to come listen to what I have to say. You know, I ain't nobody. But either way, we're gonna keep it rolling. We're gonna have a good show for y'all. Just want to take a moment to shout out the Lapeef Network in general. All right. Excellent network, giving a platform to these issues that we talk about as it relates to the Black community and the world at large. You know, it's going global, going international. So, yeah, look out for great things there. As far as what's coming on tonight, you have King Talk also on the Lapeef Network tonight. So make sure you look out for that. I will be on that show as well. That starts at about somewhere around 9 to 9:30 Central Time. So make sure y'all hit your calendars. If you don't know how to do that, go down to the bottom of the page. Of course, you're probably already subscribed. Subscribed if you are not. Go to the bottom of the page and hit that notification bell so you can get all the notifications that we have. Excuse me. So yes, make sure you do that. Sorry if you can hear this rain in my background, but we're going to get it warmed up for y'all today, man. We got a great topic for y'all. So our topic for today is fathers teach daughters their worth. Now, this is not just about fathers. When we open the lines up for people to come in, I do want to talk to fathers, but mothers, ladies in general, women with dads, right? All of you, please come up and tell us about your experience with this particular topic. If you felt like your father was a huge part of developing your self-worth, I need you to come up and tell us about it. We obviously have a great need for this type of topic, and we need to explain, even going to the other side of the spectrum, we need to explain why this topic is important for absentee fathers. All right. We are back. Sorry about that. Yeah, like I said, it's raining. It's raining really bad actually. So I did hey Dusto, don't get on me, man. I pay my electric bills, shouty. All right. But where were we? So we're just gonna keep on moving on. So we're gonna get to the call part a little early, just so I can bring people up to stream after my monologue, and then we'll keep the conversation going. So if y'all see me cut out, just stay tuned. I'll be right back, and we'll work through those technical difficulties that way. Appreciate y'all. All right, so moving on the topic. All right, so I got a video I want to play for y'all. It's a short that I did on this particular topic, and you're going to see this a lot. When I have random thoughts, and I'm going to just give this out as a piece of advice for anybody looking to increase their success in life. If you have I got Android. I know how y'all feel about that. Whatever notes app you have in your phone, leave that on the front of your screen. If you have a random thought at any time in the day, if it's business related, if it's life related, create little tiles and just type it in your notes wherever you're at. All of your best ideas, thoughts, and things that need to be projected out into the world in a positive manner will be saved there for you. You know, some of the best stuff you have, unfortunately, you already forgot because you thought about it, you didn't write it down, and you never heard of it again. But this particular topic, I contemplated on for days once I thought about it. I wrote it down, right? And naturally, let me tell you where this stems from. I was on Facebook looking at just statuses and people's posts, and a girl that I knew from college said, "I can't wait to have a son so I can show him how to treat women." Now that's tomorrow's topic, because ladies, I really got to tell you, moms in general, I really got to tell you, I'm not trying to take away your shine here, but fathers also teach their sons how to treat women. Fathers teach daughters their worth, but fathers also teach their daughters how to treat women. Okay? So let me turn on my ring light. All right, get some light back in here. But yes, that is the truth. That is the way I feel about that. All right. So that, for looking at that, she went back and forth with me, saying, no, mothers are responsible for this. And, I can be long-winded with the dialogue, but I basically broke it down step by step, case by case, statistic by statistic, as to why fathers are responsible for teaching their sons how to treat women, because the lack of fathers in the community led to the detriment or the downgrading of how men or black boys in general treat women. So she couldn't refute that, of course. So that particular thought led to this thought that I have now. Fathers also teach daughters their worth. And we're going to go through that step by step now. So what is the basis of what I'm saying and what this topic is about? The basis for this stream of thought that I have is we realize that there is no problem that the black community faces, pretty much virtually no problem, that cannot be traced back to fatherlessness within the community. Not one problem that we suffer from that can't be directly traced back to fatherlessness. You've heard me say that on countless occasions. So yeah, let me go ahead and play my video for you really quick so you can get a baseline understanding of where I'm coming from with this. Men to watch out for, even if that type of man is just like them. Once again, let's start from the beginning. Fathers teach daughters their worth. I know. Don't cancel me yet. See, there's a difference between a mother telling her daughter her worth and a father validating her worth. Good fathers tell their daughters the types of men to watch out for, even if that type of man is just like them. Once again, if you don't believe me, let me prove it to you. Women that grow up with strong father figures tend to become wives. And women that don't grow up with strong father figures tend to become baby mamas. Yeah. So the last part said, yes, there are exceptions on both sides, but exceptions don't make the rule, as we know. So that is the basis for that's the baseline premise for this discussion today. Fathers teach daughters their worth. All right. So, what I really wanted to stress on this particular topic is that moms are going to come in and they're going to want to debate. Moms, you're very welcome to debate this topic and debate the alternative that no, mothers teach daughters their worth. But I want you to understand the difference in what I'm saying more specifically. All right. I believe mothers do play a significant role in teaching their daughters self worth. But I believe fathers validate that teaching. So, the topic itself is more of a trigger to get people to look like fathers teach daughters their worth. Oh, mothers ain't nothing. No, fathers do teach worth, but more than teaching, we validate that daughter's self worth through our protection, through our mindfulness about what men are capable of doing to our daughter. We are much more intense with our teaching and validation of knowing just how much she's worth and how not to give all of her value away in this world for nothing. Fathers understand that too on a personal level. Men are the hunters, women are the prey. When you have a daughter, it's an out-of-body experience. How do I teach my daughter not to become prey before she can get something meaningful out of it, something that she wants out of it? It's a very hard task as a father. You're going to have to push that to your children as much as you can. Absolutely, as much as you can. You got to push that to your children. All right. So just understand that is the basic premise for what we're saying here. And some moms will rebut this, but I want you to take a look at this picture here. I'm gonna leave it here and I'm just gonna be quiet. So everybody has seen this picture right here. All right. This is Erykah Badu. For those of you that don't know, many of you have already seen this picture. I honestly don't know how old the daughter is. I pray that she's 18 years of age if her mom is in a picture like this with her. Now, how do I feel about that picture in general? Let me give you a personal outlook, because people often think men are just talking out the side of their neck. We're just saying things just to rebut and have something to talk about, or like we're gossiping. Me and my wife would have serious problems if she took a picture like that with our daughter. She wouldn't do that, by the way. But I understand that Erykah Badu is famous. I do. You have a almost unspoken moral obligation as a mother or father not to do this exact thing. I know we don't talk about it much, especially on the internet, because morals and the internet, those things are the antithesis of each other, right? But you have a moral obligation not to do that, even if you're famous and even if you're known for thirst trapping on the internet. You got a moral obligation to protect the innocence of your children. That is what made the world great. The protection of parents, making sure that these children don't grow up too fast, making sure that they understand their value or their worth, as the topic states today. All right. So that is the problem that I'm having with that picture. We're going to put it up one more time for those who don't understand the gravity of what I'm saying. This is Erykah Badu, a woman that's in her 40s. When you think about, I don't even want to get into the fact that she's a baby mama or she got all these baby daddies or anything like that. I don't want to get into that. Right. But it's the fact that did you clear this with her father first? No. We'll just go out on a limb and say no. But she completely obliterated and violated, rather, her moral obligation as a parent not to do stuff like that to her daughter. The world now, men of all ages, I have no idea if she's even legal. Okay, men of all ages or ogling, is that the word? Your daughter as a thirst trapper now, where they could have been more focused on her talent, her wit, her intelligence, if that's how you chose to portray her. Now you're starting her off at this young age with people wanting to see her body. I hope this is not true. I hope that she's not 51. I mean, it just makes it worse. Isn't she almost eligible for the AARP out here taking pictures like that? Listen, I just can't, man. Her daughter's 19. Okay. So the daughter's 19. That's pretty wild. That's pretty wild, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, but let's keep it moving. I'm literally disappointed by that, especially from a woman so deep. And this is the same way I feel about Kanye West, y'all. When someone has done such great work in their life, such deep work, and you feel like in their mind they know they have a higher understanding of things, you get really upset when they do things like Erykah Badu has done. I see you in the back, wife school. Just hold on for me. When I'm done with my monologue, I'll bring you right up. Appreciate it. Appreciate you for coming. Just bear with me for a little bit. All right. So what else do I have to say on this topic? We talked about fathers teaching and validating their daughter's worth. We can't underestimate the time it takes to teach our daughters these things. When I say teaching a daughter and validating her worth, they say it takes 10,000 hours to master something. So that means it takes a father countless hours of teaching and building a daughter's value in society, building her own sense of self-worth. Because we see that, unfortunately, mothers have the same amount of time, and we have a worth crisis in the community today. There is absolutely a worth crisis going on. If we want to put a few words to it as to what's going on with our baby girls out here in society, they have a self-worth problem, a self-respect problem. Then they're projecting out and telling men that they need to respect them more than they respect themselves. Absolutely not. I will not teach my daughter that. I'm not even going to project anything I'm feeling out on you. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do in my own home. My daughter will have more respect for herself and remember what her daddy taught her before she expects a man out there to show her the same type of respect. He won't be able to disrespect her because she won't allow him. All right. So we also got to think that we have such a worth crisis that in my time, I can say between college and now, like early 2000s and now, I've heard the term, I know my worth, like a million times. I personally don't think anybody that says I know my worth knows how much they're worth or has a very high sense of self-worth. You don't need to say it. That is 100% something that's dictated by your actions, ladies. If you know your worth, act like it. You don't need to say it out loud. You don't need to proclaim it to the world. It's 100% action based. If you know your worth, behave accordingly. All right, so let me bring up the wife school. How you doing? You're on mute.
Hey, how you doing, Trigger Mike?
I'm doing well today. Thank you for stopping by. So
Yes,
what do you
sir.
have on the topic? Please help us out.
Well, I must say a lot of the instructional advice that I've received in my life has been from a man. And the person who dealt with me in that way first was my father. And I think the father is so important to be in the presence of his daughter, especially because we don't know we're on emotions and our moms are on emotions. So sometimes they find with dad. So it's like sometimes we don't know how to navigate as women and young women. But like you said, it takes time for the father to instill into their children and into their daughters because they know how it is to be a man. And then they know how it was when they interact with women when they were younger. And they know how men's hormones are raging and that their daughter could be the next piece of meat to to that young guy. And the only person that will be able to tell them how to avoid that, how to curb that is their dad. And if, like you said, if the father's not there, how would they know? Either they may end up like a baby mama because they don't know how to curb that.
Excellent points. Excellent points. So let me ask you.
Yes, sir.
So in this society that we have now, where fathers are pretty much, well, I think that's incorrect now. Actually, most fathers are actually in the home, so we need to stop saying that.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe in a certain demographic, right, of certain socioeconomic status, fathers are still absent.
Yeah.
But with the father being absent from the home, what steps do you think a mom can take to make sure her daughter is protected and gets that worth validation that we're talking about?
Ooh, Ooh, that's a good question. First, the mom needs to know her worth, because you can't teach anybody if you're not living it and embodying it. So I think the moms need to get some education and know how to talk to their daughters. I mean, I I have a daughter and I like to be real with her and transparent with her. How I grew up and my experiences and things that I wish I did. So we have to come from a point of view where we have to know ourselves and be real and just be honest. Our kids want honesty. And especially as single mothers or whatever, I think they should definitely come from the standpoint of being honest. Sometimes we want to paint a picture of maybe the man or the father being bad, but sometimes the women are the cause of the problems too. We want to avoid that. So I think our best thing, and also to seek counsel and advice too, from uncles and things like that, that they can, here, serve your uncle, or just like lead them by example. If I'm fixing a meal, like if we're having dinner at my dad's house, I'll bring my daughter. I say, hey, come in here. Let's do this together. And I said, go serve your grandfather this. Go serve it. He needs this drink. He likes this. He likes to have it. Like I told her to be aware of her partner, aware of her father, aware of a man's presence or what just to be aware. And a lot of people, they're not aware. They just want to be selfish and focus on them. And they don't know how to navigate when it comes time to being in a relationship or interacting with a man or how you're supposed to interact with a man.
That is 100% correct. So how do they know if they weren't taught? That's what I'm getting from what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I also have a bit of a curveball too, because
Wife school, I think it's raining where he's at, so his
Yeah.
power might have went out again.
It's
But
okay.
if you definitely want to add something else to it, you can right now. I'm
Okay.
welcome getting back.
All right, cool. Especially just like leading by example. I think the problem with the modern woman, or like he brought up, like society today, is that we're so career focused. We're focused on the money. We want to get to the bag. You can't focus on everything. Something's going to go out of whack. Either you're not going to have time to instill in your children because you're putting in a 40-hour, 60-hour week, or you're going to be tired and things as such. And like your kids are going to go lacking. Something is going to go lacking. And sometimes it may be the kids, if the father's not there. It's just this imbalance. And like I see the content that most people are creating today, like there's just such an imbalance within the culture. It's not only us that's suffering, it's our children that are suffering too. So they're seeing this dysfunction, they're continuing the dysfunction, and it's just getting, it's just setting everybody a little bit back in the relationship area. That's why nobody can find anybody that's compatible, because we don't have these stable relationships. We don't have the fathers necessarily in the homes. We have broken homes. We have blended families and such and such and such. But I think the importance of the father is sort of like the infrastructure of a building. The outside may be nice, everything looks good, the family looks good from the outside, because why? The infrastructure is there. Somebody got to lay the foundation. Somebody got to put the pillars up and, do the engineering right, make sure the wiring's right and balancing and everything, so that this building doesn't tip over. And usually a man is good for that in the family, and then for that role, and especially for women. I think what women lack today, they don't want to be told anything. And even looking at, say, for instance, we sometimes reference Kevin Samuels. His technique or his tone of voice was sort of like instructional father, or somebody that's giving you advice. But some of the women, they're just so used to being in their way and their train of thought and their thinking that they can't even hear. They can't even hear from a man. This is alien to them, and so they kick back and rebuttal back, and somebody, and the men are just trying to say, hey, just listen to me, girl, just listen to me. Do you want to get a man? Do you want love? Or it's just like these daughters they don't know how to just choose men. They just don't know. And so when somebody's trying to tell them something, it's just so foreign to them. And then as they get further on down their life, they're like, I should have listened, or I should have listened to my dad, or I should have listened to this guy that was giving me sound advice. It's like we're so emotional in the moment that we just miss the logic or the point that is trying to be made in that moment. Dealing with family or being a better woman. Sometimes, a man can give you those headstrong instructions, and we need instructions, we need guidance, and to establish everything. Like, I'm a Christian, so everything that's established in the family is God, the father or husband, and then the family. So I think if we had our men on a purpose, following a code or following some type of thing, then we as women can follow that, and hopefully they're a decent dude, because some guys they're not. But I mean, that would be a good, clear way of judging, well, this guy's on his purpose. This guy has a good head on his head, and I think he's able to lead my family. Not that he looks good or whatever for the moment, but this guy that actually can do something for me and provide.
I got you. I think Mike might be frozen again. Let me bring Scam up in here real quick.
Yeah.
Now, Mike, like you're frozen again. What's going on, Scam?
Hey, what's going on? I'm gonna mute this other computer. What's going on? And turn some light on. Like a criminal suspect.
I just want to say thank you to Wife School Podcast. One more woman to come up. I think it's important for women to
please
perspectives on this. So thank you again for having the courage to come up there. Scam, like that, would you like to add to this conversation?
Going back all the way to the beginning, talking about adding value, or fathers teach their daughters their worth. I think it's more done by action than actual like a teaching. Meaning there's certain conversations that don't have to be had when the action is already present. Like when the father does the work and comes home and puts his family first, the daughter sees that, and that becomes an expectation without a conversation. Some stuff goes into a person's subconscious mind before it goes into subsoul. Repetitive, constant, consistent behavior starts to become the norm, and that's what they see. Somehow it goes in their subconscious mind. That's what they go out and they go look for. My father did what he was supposed to do, came home, was there. My sister found a man who was consistent. They met in college. He goes to work. He comes home. He's there every day. He got 3 kids, 2 grown, 19, 17, and 11-year-old. He's there. I've known him since 2000. Me and her husband never had an argument before. 20 years. 20-something years. Very consistent. My dad, very consistent. If I needed something right now, he'd fly down to Florida. He'd just be here. Ain't nobody perfect. Let's be real.
Yeah.
But also the thing in teaching value, there are, I mean, let's be real. There are some Dustin dads out there that are, trying to explain it, telling their daughters that they're this mother queen princess because according to him, she's a mother queen princess, mother queen goddess, whatever. But if she's just a 4 or just a 6 or just an average person, then the world is going to treat her like an average person. And if you keep telling her she's this princess, she goes out there like an average person. It's treated average. It's going to be a problem.
Do you think that's wrong? Because like if you build up my confidence, at least I'll have the confidence to get who's right for me and not necessarily who's out of my league. You know what I'm saying? Like I have to have some type of, joy and validation in who I am as a person, even though I may not be pretty like Beyonce.
Well, not just look, but I've seen to where there's, let me give an example. Okay, I know of somebody. She had 2 daughters. One daughter was super spoiled, and she thinks she's everything. Her attitude is bad. She actually got married a decent dude, had kids. When one thing goes wrong, trash the man because he's not like her father. Because he said, you're going to marry this prince, you perfect. So she thought she was, so something must be wrong with the man. Nothing's wrong with her. And because she was pretty, slim, and trim, she figures I'll just throw this man and go get another one. Wrong. Throw that man away, and now you're out here with 2 kids, running back out here in the streets. You can find some decent dudes, whatever, but they're gonna rock them buns one good time and Uber you right on back to the streets, or Uber you back to the daycare to pick up your kids. Or they're gonna hear that same attitude, like you had a man, you got the best, you had something that was willing to work with you for who you are, and you threw it away. You come out here older with kids, it's gonna be a problem. And this person is still out there older with kids, running out of control. The saddest thing.
And you think that's because somebody told her she's a mama goddess princess, whatever you said?
Yeah, that part and being spoiled. And then it got to the point where the saddest part of it is when the angry women, sorry to go off topic, a lot of these people or these women go and take that very anger and abuse out on the kids. That's the sad part of it. And
yeah,
it goes all the way back up to, what the expectations were, at what she was taught as far as the value. But on the good side, the realistic part is what's taught by fathers. So even if you're a great person that's a 4, 5, 6, whatever, you are who you are, go and get the best person for the person that you are. So seeing a realistic relationship in your household kind of dilutes all the I'm gonna go get a princess, a woman 378 pounds with 4 wigs trying to go get Abs Jenkins at the beach who just pulled up in a BMW. It dilutes all the delusion and the fiction and the crazy stuff. Or all these men's ain't this, these men ain't that. If a father has some value himself, he can be an average man. But value and consistency, he's probably going to be around some valuable, consistent men that are coming over playing dominoes, chess, whatever. So they get that going into their subconscious mind, and they can go get something that mirrors some form of what they are. But yeah. Trigger Mike, you still froze?
Don't be froze.
Trigger Mike, you there?
I told him to pay the rest of his electric bill, but
No, don't put that out there. It's a bad storm, H-Town. So
in Houston.
Yeah.
he's experiencing he has new development, you know how that is. Just goes out every time, every chance it gets.
Wow.
But go ahead, wife school. Sorry about that.
No, it's I can understand some things that you said, but like it's it depends on the girl and how she's growing up. Like Trigger Mike was saying, like there's fathers there and they're gonna instill value in their daughters, and then there's single moms that do something totally completely different because they need direction themselves, and then when they don't want to listen to nobody, that's kind of a lose-lose situation. And plus, like if you're not instilling some of these values and in your child, they can just get easily swept away. That can go from what the mom is saying, and now we're battling social media. Before, we just used to go to school and interact with people at school and then come home, but now we have school, social media, we have like so much distraction. And usually a man on his purpose, or a man that is that values family, is going to instill, going back to Trigger Mike said, those values, because he has an expectation and has an intention for his family. And some people, they don't have an intention for their family. Sometimes they're getting caught away on social media too. Look at the picture we just saw of Erica and her daughter, like doing bun shots. Like, okay, what was the purpose of that? We know you're beautiful. We know that. But what is the hypersexualization of your body? We know, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's the purpose? Opposed to a picture of a Muslim woman. She's totally covered up, but there's some beauty about her that she didn't have to put her body out there like that. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes moms don't necessarily instill things. Certain things. I just think there's a limit to it, but I think all fathers should have some type of effect in the home. Me, in my situation, I recently got a divorce, and my children's father, he's not there. I beg, I open door, like, hey, make the suggestions. And I don't think I'm a difficult person, but I understand the role of a father. Now, I know you're not here every day, and I know you need to go to work, but when you are free, give your children a call. Go hang out with them. I'm pushing that, because that time, like Trigger Mike said, that time, that investment, that's what's important, because I know how that feels. I experienced it. But you can't bring something out of a person that wasn't there. And that was my decision, my choice to procreate with that. And I should have known a little bit better. Or like, I think back sometimes, well, why did I have that disconnect? That I put, the future, and not giving my kids the same future and the same growing grounds that I did. So sometimes that always, gets me in the heart a little bit, but I definitely know the importance of a father, and I respect all men. Every man deserves respect.
Even the Dusties.
Even the Dusties. That's why you keep them at arm's length, but I ain't going to say, hey, get away from me, loser. I'm going to say, hey, how you doing? I'm going to give you respect and send you on. That's why I think I get good responses with guys, because I'll show you respect, but I know where to place you. You know what I'm saying? So that comes with experience and knowing your worth.
Hey, Trigger, about you there? Okay.
It's like Wayne.
Hey, what's going on, Ennis? Welcome to the show, brother. What do you have to add on?
Good. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
Can you hear me? Okay, good. I just wanted to respond to Scam Mike. I'll piggyback off something that he said and just use myself as an example. And where he was talking about basically your daughter or your kids are basically whatever role you present. It's what's going to mold your kids, your daughter, whoever. So my daughter's just personal experience. My daughter's 20, 22, 20, going 23 this year. She's in medical school. She's doing everything she needs to be a success. And there are things that she's doing that I see that she's doing that her mother did that sort of pushed me and her mother away from one another. And I'm trying to talk to her, and it's like, don't do this, you need to do that. And basically she just doesn't want to hear it. She as far as like from what the example that I've set, she's just not interested, basically. We used to talk all of the time. She'd ask me for advice, but now she's at that point where it's a little bit has to do with the people that are around her, like on her mother's side, saying that I'm this and I'm that and I'm this and I'm that. And because I wasn't there, regardless of what they said, if I was there, they could have said whatever they like to say, but because I'm absent from her life, loving her from a distance, it's proven difficult, like right now. And there's a lot of stuff that I would like to be able to no, you shouldn't be doing this, or you can do this better if you do it this way. And it's just it's just not getting through. So it's a bit difficult. It's a bit difficult to deal with and stuff because you just want the best for your kids and stuff. So that's tough to deal with right now. And my son my son my son is not even on the same planet as me. And basically he the same thing because I wasn't around. And even though in the earlier years I sacrificed a lot. So basically working like a midday type of job so that I could take them to school and pick them up. But I wasn't in the home, even though I was, doing a bunch of stuff. I wasn't in the home. I wasn't uh, really setting that foundation. So it's like I said, it's not easy to deal with, and I don't know how many people are gonna, sit up and say like, this is what's up, But at this point in time, I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best to try and still connect with them. So, but yeah, that. Just piggybacking off of what um, Scam likely says. I'm not feeling that name, but anyway. So yeah.
All right. What's going on, Rick Judah?
What's good, Rick Judah?
Yo, what's going on, everybody? How y'all doing? Good afternoon.
Good
I
afternoon.
100% agree with the topic, though. Fathers definitely teach their daughters their worth, their value, where they're supposed to be, how they're supposed to be seen, viewed in the world. Like I said, I have 2 daughters, so of course, I have a it's a big stake I have in this, and I think every day of how I want to make sure the man I give my children to are going to be the ones that I know can. When I say the men they're given to, they're going to take care of them at the level or better than I'm going to, and that's really, there's nothing else is going to be expected. I'm not gonna allow anything less. And I'm actually terrified at the state of the men that's out here, because I think most of the men are garbage anyway. So I don't think there's that many good men to go around to give them to. So they need to know how important it is for them to not only value themselves but carry themselves in a manner that's upright. As Trigger Mike showed that caption earlier, that picture with Erykah Badu and her daughter, and it's like, wow, you know what I'm saying? That daughter failed, that father, yes, exactly. That father failed her. Like, and I'm saying, in a sense, first, you put a seed in a woman like that raised your child. Like, you should have been, what I'm saying? And again, we all make mistakes. So I'm not going to say we don't make mistakes. We all make bad decisions. Just like our sisters, we talk about women making bad choices and choosing the Pookies and the Ray Rays. Well, we choose the Keishas and the Nicoles to put our seed in, and then we be complaining about child support and all this other, other stuff that's going on. It's like, well, we set ourselves up for that, and then we set our child up for that failure. And now our child's growing up, taking thirst traps with our mama next to it. Like, come on, man. Now they're gonna be next. They're gonna be in the strip club. You know what I'm saying? Twerking next to each other. Talking about give me them dollars. It trips me out, but the father shows the worth. If the father was actually active in their life, if he the first chose the right type of woman, and then of course, if he would have obviously been showing her that, hey, don't follow your mama's lead. Look at how your mama carries herself. Look at how many different, men have continued to impregnate her. Look at how she moves. This ain't somebody you want. So that's just what I got on it so far.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I'll go in and add on to it. Trigger Mike is still trying to troubleshoot you guys. His power is completely out. He's trying to go mobile, but that signal is low as well. So
I think, Jay, I got a bounce, but I appreciate you letting me share.
All right, no problem, Enos. Appreciate you, brother. Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to say is that I don't think a lot of people even realize how important the father is when it comes, whether the role he plays in his daughter's life. And I don't think, me myself, I didn't really understand how important it is, which I'm thankful for platforms like this and platforms like others. We'll be able to bring people in and have these conversations, because I learned just looking at these panels and being on these panels how important it is, how much of a role I need to be in my daughter's life. It wasn't until I met a woman whose father was in her life and he played a huge role, and you can definitely see the difference. So when you go back and you look and you compare over all these years of how being an active father, you can't just be in the house, but you got to be active in teaching his daughter things in order for her to be able to be the way she is when she get older, to be productive in these relationships. So I don't think a lot of fathers really understand the importance of it. But if you don't know, now is the time to really take this game and try to apply it. The earlier, the better. because the later it gets, sometimes it's a little hard, especially when people get set in their ways. And I think Rick made a good point too, as far as men, we have to vet properly. We have to be careful where we plant our seeds at. It doesn't fall totally on the woman, because it takes two to make that baby. So if we, sticking our thing inside these women and having these children, these unplanned children, because most children are unplanned. I mean, most people don't even plan, which I think is crazy. I'm guilty of that myself. But as we get older and we try to teach people that's coming behind us, they got to understand that you want to plan it. You want to plan to bring this child in. That's how you start changing the community, is within your own household. So if you start there, instead of focusing on everybody else and trying to hold everybody else accountable, hold yourself accountable. Hold the people around you accountable. Check your house first, and we can start there. If everybody check their own houses and them homes, then eventually you'll start to see the difference. But everybody else worried about what everybody else is doing, and they shit fucked up. So I think Rick made a good point. We need to, as men, we need to start vetting properly and be careful in where we put our seeds at. And then don't plant the seeds and then complain about the women. Well, you chose that woman. Like, you knew what she was when you hopped into them draws. So there's a lot of things you shouldn't be surprised of. Like, you knew she was arguing back and forth. You knew that she didn't respect you. So you planting the seed in her wasn't going to change anything. You just adding to the problem. And now we have this messed up community, so to speak, because we chose wrong.
Yeah, but JR, it's the white man's fault, though.
No, it's our own fault, man. We can't.
No, the person, they were oppressed from redlining, and then the white man held one of the legs open while he was going raw. It's systematic oppression. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, but we are in the age of information now, where, just like you brought this issue up, yes, that was the past, and now we have, like he says, you learn a lot through the panels. We have access to information to combat all that, to change all that, to have the discipline. Like Rick was saying, like, you're reckless. Nobody can like hold back, but you're like being bombarded with so many things that people lack discipline within themselves. We're fat women. The Black women are fat because we eat. We don't have no discipline, but we have the same opportunity, the same 24 hours as everyone else. It's just we're not applying that to better our situation.
Well, a lot of people can't, how to say it, even let's say panels, for example. There might be 3 different conversations and 3 different views. Some men saying, hey, be the best. Some men saying, no, everything gonna be all right. And then the other one saying, you know what, let's strive for the dust. Some people are only gonna hear from person 2 and person 3. That's all they hear, that's all they know. Or all they choose to know. Because they may think emotionally, they may have trauma, or they may not, just no understanding, or just be undisciplined. So they're gonna hear what they wanna hear, and they're gonna focus on that. To the point where if you say the word marriage, first thing a man's thinking about is child support and all the 5 other things. Like, dude, you ain't got no kids. You ain't even getting any. Are you talking, how we get all the way to child support in the court system? And all I said was a woman. We talking, like, there's some people that are that far gone to where even with the discussions, they can't, the information just can't get in there. When we talk about women and the value, hey, why don't you do better at that? Why don't you, as soon as I say the word gym, oh man, it's a wrap. They're coming for me. Don't even say the FAT. Oh God, I'm catching charges. But I'm just saying it's to the point where a basic conversation, a basic something of man, woman, a regular conversation can't even take place, but only maybe 2 out of 10 people. Then I got to come in and start trolling them. And I can't do this by myself.
I think a lot of that has to do with people not being able to be wrong. Sometimes people just can't take being wrong or being accountable. So that's why you have 2 to 3 different conversations. If you could all get on one conversation, those 3 conversations, maybe those 2 people can just be like, you know what, I'm probably wrong. So now you start to build some improvement. And that goes back into teaching your daughters their worth, because part of the worth that they got to have is being corrected. A lot of daughters they haven't been corrected. They haven't been told they're wrong. So if you ain't told them they're wrong, you can't tell them what's right. And they're not going to know what's right. They're not going to know what to believe in. So then any man can come around and tell them anything. And they're going to be like, oh, yeah, that sounds good. Sunshines and rainbows. And now they believing in a fairy tale. And then when that fairy tale shows itself to be a nightmare, and that man is the worst. And then it's like, oh, he was so bad. Well, nah, it ain't that he was so bad. You just never heard the real. You never heard what was right. So you couldn't see that man coming, which that's a whole nother conversation I don't even get into. But I don't believe women should choose men. Women don't have the wisdom or the understanding to choose a man because they're like children. And again, it's not a knock. It's not a negative thing. It just is. So when it comes to that, you teach them their worth. Here, this is who you are. This is how great you are. But it's because I told you that, not because you just believe it yourself because you feel that way. No, it's because I'm telling you what you're good at. And then I'm also going to tell you what you lack in. But when you do those things, you actually, again, teach them their worth. All right, you are Fred VanVleet. You know what I'm saying? You're not Kawhi Leonard. You're Van Fleet. Here, you're a good player, but you're a good role player. You know what I'm saying? You're not the greatest, but you're not the worst. You got to actually give them what they are so they know where they're at. And I think the Wife School podcast kind of spoke on it earlier, basically saying like where your area is, your lane, we got to kind of give them the truth, give them the game so that way they know what to expect and what to do.
Yeah. My dad, I'm telling you, strict. Oh my God, and that's what probably it landed me in that problem, not bringing back this dude to say like, hey, to vet him and everything, because I just wanted to keep everything away from him because I just didn't want him all up in my business. But my dad, he was very intentional. He's spoken to my life all the time. Like we used to pray, and he used to tell me when I went to school, like when I was in middle school, he said, "You're going to the top. You're going to be valedictorian," and all these things. And so those are nice, positive things to hear. Not like you're like your mama, your dad. You know what I'm saying? Not those types of things that we hear often. Like that's negative. Like you really have to plant those ideas. And I really did become the valedictorian in my middle school. You know what I'm saying? I did have a bright personality. I didn't feel like I wasn't valued. I didn't feel like I wasn't loved. And then when he was just being so strict with me one night, I was like, "You don't love me." He said, "Who told you I don't love you?" And I was like, "Oh, no one." So it was a lie. It was a thought I made up myself because I didn't like you said, that correction at that moment. So I said, "You don't love me." Or if a man tells you the truth, "I'm not happy with your answer." You know what I'm saying? But like, well, who told you that? Well, that's just something I made up in my mind. And a lot of us, we listen to that little devil on our shoulder instead of the right, correct way of things and of thinking. And like you said, we just want to be right all the time. And so just receiving that correction is so impertinent, so that when you do transition to the next man, you can have that peaceful home. You can, run your house in a way where, okay, my wife, she doesn't give me any problems. She's cool. I can relax. I can talk to her. I don't have all this kickback and things like that. So it's a joy for a man. Like you said, there's trash out here to like sift through the trash and be like, "Oh, this girl, she's all right." You know what I'm saying? It's different from everyone else. So it kind of helps you be distinguished in that way to interact with men by receiving your value and correction from a man or a father side.
Hold on real tight. Trigger Mike, you there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear the panel?
Yeah, I can hear him.
Okay, you go ahead and do your thing, bro.
Welcome back.
All right, cool. Hey, man, shout out to JR. This dude has literally a million ways to get your voice out there. The military need to recruit him for combat operations or something. He got a way. Where there's a will, there is a way. But I love what I hear from the panel so far. So I wasn't able to hear anything any of the fathers had to say on it. Did anybody have any particular experiences and then wanted to share? Because what I want to know is, we've seen through the single motherhood crisis, right? That is, the Black in general is in crisis. As I always say, fathers, or rather men, trivialize sex, but women trivialize childbirth. All right, so yes, we can tell men, look, you don't, stick your peen anywhere, but only one side is responsible. As y'all said, your body, your choice, your decision to birth that child. So if we're looking on that, in this single motherhood crisis that we currently have going on in society, where do we feel like fathers have gone wrong? Or is it just the absence of fathers that's causing this? Or, what can mothers and fathers, parents in general do to basically explain to their children this is not, um, you know, something that you should be carrying on with your life as a young person, as a single parent, because I believe that plays a little bit into the topic here too. So what are your thoughts?
Are you talking about fathers of the children who are going out and making kids? Or are you talking about fathers as in, are you talking about fathers who have daughters or have children who are out there,
Fathers who
or
have
talking about
daughters.
fathers as in the guys who are actually participating in making kids,
Yeah, let's start
unmarried or
with
in the
fathers.
dust?
Yeah, like fathers who have daughters. So if you like, let's say you had a daughter, because let's be real, everybody who has a father doesn't have a good one,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we can kind of see the holes in the upbringing of people, because even if they have a dad, he may not have been as effective. He may, in fact, I think the general one is he just worked all the time and thought that his own job was to provide, right? And maybe nobody was there for him in that way, so he didn't really know how to be present, didn't know how to guide the children well, and because he was at work, he was absent a lot. So, what do you think men in general or fathers in general can do better to show their daughters their worth so they're not out here making these mistakes? Because if I'm gonna give you an example, right? Every dude knows for a fact that first time you knew a girl that let a train get run on her, and her dad was in that house, in the back of your mind, when you see that guy in the grocery store, you like, ooh, the stuff your daughter be doing, right? So, where do you think fathers have gone wrong to allow that stuff to happen to their daughters?
Being weak. Oh, my fault. Go ahead, Sam. My bad.
No, go ahead, Rick. Go ahead. Father, speak first.
Oh, no, I was just saying. I first say being a simp. Like usually, and I ain't gonna say, but the majority of the times when you got, I guess as you said, the girl that gets a train ran on, you got hoes. It's usually because the daddy's a simp. Because if you have a daddy in the house, the mama usually tells the daddy to be quiet, let her go out to the dance, let her go on dates with boys, let her go do X, Y, and Z. When these things take place, only thing that's going to happen is the girl's going to be like, oh, okay, mama's word goes. So since mama runs the house, I can run my own life and I can make whatever decision. And again, as I've said many times, women are self-destructive. They will destroy themselves. So when we talk about how the men allow these things, they allow these things by not putting their feet down, by being pushovers, by being soft. At a certain point, you just got to realize, nah, this is going to go the way I say it's going to go. And if it doesn't go that way, you can't lay down any order, any rules. That's mainly what takes place from jump. And then, of course, when you do that, now you're showing your daughter she's not worth anything because she's not even worth the fight you're going to have with your wife or the mother of your child. Because you're saying, I'm not going to have this conflict with her because I know that if I say something, it's going to be a problem. Oh, well, I guess it's going to be a problem because my daughter is worth that much that I'm going to tell her, hey, we ain't having this. And I'll say, for one thing, I know I do in my house. Like if my wife even disrespects me or says something that's out of the way, I'm gonna, hey, yeah, you done being disrespectful. Go to my daughters and apologize for being, talking to their daddy like that. Let them know that's not supposed to be. You're showing them their worth in just other ways like that because you letting them know, hey, it's that important for me to teach you the right things. I love you that much, and the next man that's going to be with you is going to love you so much he's going to do whatever it takes for your safety, for your welfare, for your direction. So, well, how do we feel them and those things? Even one thing with the weight. Fathers fail their daughters, letting their daughters get to be 200, 300 pounds. You're failing your daughter because at the end of the day, I understand that I'm going to get my daughter the best man she can get by making sure she stays fit. Then making sure she's, my child plays sports, not just so she can, she's athletic, she can play. Yeah, she's good. That's cool, both of them. But they're going to be in sports because they're going to exercise. They're going to work out because I know that the bigger they are, the lower man they're going to get. And I know it sounds bad, but the bigger they are, they're going to get a worse dude because usually the worst dudes pick off the lower one. So I'm gonna show her worth by being like, hey, yeah, make sure you stay in shape because I don't want you to get no garbage. I don't want nobody pick the low-hanging fruit because the people that get the big girls, usually them dudes, y'all know what it is.
Yeah.
We know what it is, man. Gems drop there, bro. Salute to you for that. Gems drop. That's before you go real quick. Let me just say
Okay.
on the father's tip. Look, because this is such a critical point you just made. Not only is it the simp behavior in the house, a lot of men don't understand, especially the ones that grew up in this generation, right? So take me for instance. I understand that I'm privileged in the fact that I had my mother and father in the home, and not only I have a good father, he worked a lot, but he was like Jesus. He was ever present. He was there even when he wasn't there. That's how effective his philosophy was and his discipline was in the house, and that's exactly how fathers need to be. And what I need modern dads to understand, if we're going to tell you anything on this particular broadcast, we're going to tell you this. Your wife is not built to agree with everything you say. She doesn't have to understand everything you say. It's your instinct. It's your job to lay down the discipline and the law of the land, regardless if she agrees with it or not. I tell women all the time, you need to get with a man that's three things: reasonable, dependable, consistent. Understand that if he is forcing an issue, but you understand that he's a reasonable man, you need to trust him because he's not trying to hurt his family. You don't have to understand why I'm so against this. God gave me this gift, right? God made women nurturers. It's not like we go to infant women telling them how to care for babies. That's their instinct to know how to do that. So when it comes to discipline, nobody better step on a father's head. As long as he's not physically harming those children, leave him be when it comes to discipline. This is the way we have to approach this situation with our women. And you have to be that bad about it. I think what's terrible with men today is that they ingratiate themselves with their wives and other women in the community. They are way too agreeable on purpose because they want everybody to like them. Hear me when I say I don't give two shits if anybody in the community like me when it comes to me raising my children. I don't care. And that's the way men have to be. And like I said, I'm privileged. That's the way my father was. It's the way my uncles are, and the example that I have. But we can share this information with people so they can understand this goes if they want to do right by their own family. All right, Dusto, what you got?
Hold on for you guys. Go, Trig.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know if you can see the screen, but we got Wife School, Scam Likely, Rick Judah, and I just brought up Auntie J. So she just came on the panel.
Auntie J, what's up? Welcome.
Go ahead, Mike, with your bad self. Go ahead, trigger Mike with your bad self. So proud of you. Congratulations on your platform. It's awesome. I listened to you yesterday. You had some great points there, as always. Nothing new. I think that's your wife. Hi, how are you? Yes, you made some great points. I was a single mother up until my daughter was 17, going away to school. Not to say that her dad wasn't in her life, however, he just wasn't a healthy entity, I might say. But I'd never talk bad about her dad to her. I believe that was our business, and I didn't intertwine the two like a lot of mothers do. My relationship with him had nothing to do with her, and I never made it as one. Let's start there. A lot of fathers that are not in the home are being talked about by the mothers, and that's impressionable upon the child. Mothers don't know how those children feel. I mentor with females here in my town, right? And a lot of parents don't even know children. So I always tell parents, when you tell me 5 bad things about your child, if you tell me 2, make sure you can tell me 10 great things about them. Because it's easy to embed the bad of what a child does. Tell me the great what they do. They need to hear it as well, but parents don't want to take the time and parent. And I think that's a big problem. I'm not going to blame it on the absentee of the father, but when Mike gave out the statistics about women don't care about them babies. So I've been telling fathers, go get your babies. Go get them. Because being raised with a mother, unfortunately, is just not a good space these days. Just lost another child the other day at one of our subways, right around the corner from his house at about, I think he got shot like about 10:30, 11 o'clock. See, I knew what my 17-year-old was. You don't get to tell me nothing. Nothing. And when I got her a phone, I wish you would put an app on it, because that's not what this phone is for. Now, when you get grown and you're paying the bill yourself, I have no say. But while you under my care, no damn apps. And that's the problem. Parents get children these phones to keep up with the Joneses, and it's not working. Get children these Jordans, get them the stuff that they can't keep up with. So when you can't keep it up, what are the children gonna do? Steal, breaking other people's stuff. You can't even feed your child. And you get stamps from us, people that's productive. 85% of the children in America go hungry every day, and the only meals they see are in school. And I just think that's horrible. So that's why they came up with the summer lunch program. And it just says a lot for us as mothers. You're supposed to be able to nurture. We're not doing it. So yeah, I think this is a great topic. But I don't want to blame the fathers. Like, when you think about it, a lot of Black men have been broken from childhood. Little boys are not paid attention to like little girls. We all know that. They watch the little girls, how we wipe ourselves. You know that. You got to wipe from the front to the back. But little boys, they just sit them there and just make sure they wipe. They don't care how they wipe. And from there, at 2 years old, he's called a man. That's my little man. Little man? Can he be a child? So the generation, I don't know what's going to help it. I really don't. I don't. So thank goodness for these type of platforms that can inform people, that want to be informed. If you don't want to be informed, then you won't know. You won't want to get better and do better for yourself and your children. You can do it. I'm not saying that it's easy. It's not easy with two. So you know what it's like with one, but two makes it better. Especially if both parties are healthy. What are we talking about, right? When both parties are healthy. No, we don't know how the children are going to turn out, but it's more likely than not that they're going to turn out being productive citizens of society. That's the goal, to be better than I was and be able to take care of yourself. Because I'm not going to be here always. That's it.
All right, Auntie Jay, you be coming through dropping that fire. I appreciate it. But no, you dropped some gems there for real, for real.
It's
And,
the truth.
to you, yep.
They want to be their friend.
To your point that the attention really isn't paid to boys. So
I know.
that was such a powerful statement, because if daughters still don't know their worth and are creating all these babies out of wedlock, choosing low value men for themselves, but yet we're still not paying any attention to the boys. But we're paying all the attention to girls, propping up their programs, giving them all kind of work programs to go to school, giving them extra salary to take over jobs, but they're creating these metrics. Who's going to sound the alarm and say, this ain't the way things are supposed to be done?
Right.
That's the part that really gets me, and why other countries are looking at us like we're a hot meal.
We are.
And we're not about to be the world superpower no more, because how can you be looking at all these declining metrics in your country and, don't take it seriously?
I don't know.
Age of decadence.
Yeah. Absolutely.
The decay.
And
I'm sorry, my bad.
where the government has become their child's father. The government. That's your baby daddy. I had a girlfriend, right? She just died. She just passed. And she was not a productive citizen of society. And she was on welfare with her 3 children. After she got, I said, you never worked? She said, no, the government took care of me and my children. So I said, after your children got grown, what did you do? She said, I got on SSI. And I get stamps. See, that broke shit don't work for me. And what you choose to give me don't work for me. That little bit of just does not, it never did. I saw my mom on that welfare, and back in my day, it was all talked about. It was talked about bad. So that's not what I knew I wasn't going to do. Even though I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up, I learned. So yeah, you have to get out here and provide. And getting married has increased my work and it's increased my value because my husband showed me so many things. And for once in my life, I listened to a man outside of my daddy. I was so proud of myself, Mike. You hear me, Mike? I'm listening to a man. What? Oh wow, I was so happy. Like I'm still happy. But I tell him I live my way another way longer than I've been married. 19 years of marriage. That's how long I've been. 19, we'll be married 20 years, April 23rd. And I live my way another way longer. I told men what to do. That's not how it's supposed to be. That's why I knew they weren't going to be around.
Yeah.
That's
Anybody else want to chime in on this before we do final thoughts?
Yeah, I was like saying, like she was saying, like the government is replacing the dads because it's kind of an incentive, like you get like enroll in this program, you get this money, and it's like so horrible. It's so bad, and it's just affecting the women and the children on so many levels. And then I read articles that they getting ready to cut that stuff off. Then where you gonna go? You know, you're gonna be trying to look for Rick Judah. Hey, help me out, Rick. You know, and ain't nobody gonna be there because, hey, sorry, you didn't want me. And so now they're gonna feel, you know, it's just such a bad way. Even myself, like knowing that, you know, my children's dad isn't there like I would like him to be, it's like I'm not gonna sit here on the sidelines. I'm like the values that my dad put in me is to work hard for the things you want. Nobody gives you anything in this life, and nobody's gonna come save you. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's gonna come save you. And so I was like, okay, what can I do? I need some instructions because I got these boys, I got my daughter, and I'm probably, like Rick said, be self-destructive because I'm all in my head overthinking all this crap. So what I did is that I went on YouTube and looking for people. I actually got books. Like I got these 2 books. The Countering the Conspiracy to Destroy Black Boys, and I got Raising Black Boys. And it has a section in there talking to the mothers on what to do with your Black son. So it's like you have to be proactive. Even if the father's not there, get them to mentors, get them to the Big Brother program, get them around a decent uncle, and, you know, let them develop that masculinity, you know, in them. And also if you have, you know, your daughters, you know, get them so that somebody can encourage her femininity and to be that girl, you know, have her values. You know, it's just tough. Fathers are very important, but we can equip ourselves and we can read and just use this knowledge to make our culture better and thrive the way it should be. Because obviously if we've had, you know, communities, we've had businesses, we had Black Wall Street, we can do it. We can do it. But we just got to put it into work and to definitely listen to people like Trigger Mike that got good, you know, a good head on their shoulder. So That's all I got to say.
I got a little pushback. That we can do
little,
it. With this.
I'll give you about 2 minutes for pushback, then we're gonna get final thoughts.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I missed so much. I missed everything Auntie J said. This we can build this whole blackety black Wall Street. No, it's done. These people out of control over there, stay away from them. Get the people who are trying to do something and work with them. It ain't gonna be no black Wall Street, blackety take over. Nah. But only other thing was, like me, I'm single with no kids, so I can run out here and do whatever. But if I had children, the priority is they need, or for a woman, they need male leadership in the household. Well, the best place to get it is in the household. Go get the best man you can get. Go remarry. That's the best thing you can do, other than the mentors or the coach over here. Shoot for the best. That's all I got.
Hey, just to jump in on what you said, as far as, because I do agree, get the best man you can get. But part of getting the best man you can get is getting the men. Well, the men of your people, 1, 2. We do want to get, as you would say, blackety black, because we want our people to be stronger as a nation, because black people it's our family. We say we want to focus on the family. Our family is our people, and your people look like you. They have the same culture as you. And when you build up those people, then your families will be better as a whole, because everybody's going to see each other as family instead of just regular. I should not see my fellow black person the same way as I see an Asian person or an Arab person. No, those are different people. My people look like me. My people going through my struggle. My people came here on slave ships, and my people are the 12 tribes. But yeah, we got to be together.
Those ain't my people. My people are the people who act like me, not who look like me. I don't care what
we supposed to act alike. That's the thing. We supposed to act the same.
They said no.
That is definitely a topic for another day. But I do have that on my Rolodex for another day. Trust us, though. I know your position strong.
I too. I have relatives. Them the ones I couldn't choose. I have a choice, and then I have family. Them the ones I chose.
Right. So for final thoughts, I want each of you to answer a question for me, because one thing, even with the question as stated, right? Fathers teach daughters their worth. Women, I guess the modern woman behaves as if she has a lot of self-worth, but I believe it's just arrogance. So I want your thoughts to the difference between arrogance and self-worth.
Oh, that's a huge difference. Huge difference.
Very much so. I could tell you.
I was gonna say arrogance is when you actually got an inflated sense of self, like I said, something you believe. It's a delusional belief. It's not even what you think. You don't even know that, because if you actually thought that, then it's certain things you wouldn't accept. So I believe that their true worth, they should be, one, in their chastity. You know what I'm saying? Their next part should be within, just what type of man you're gonna get. The best man you're gonna get is gonna be in understanding your chastity, your past, and all of that stuff. So that's all I got on that.
And that's a big word too, like self-worth for a woman. So just to expound on that really quickly, we know it's the market that sets the value. All right. It's not men saying that a woman's worth. Well, I'm sorry, that is incorrect. It's men saying, a majority of men believe a woman's worth and value is in her chastity. Right. We don't want a woman with a high body count. It's not our first choice. Let's just be real. Does any fellas on the panel right now want a woman with 100 body count that you know of?
Hell no to the no.
Like, give me that with 100. I've never heard that before.
That just hurt me down low, baby. 100.
You've never heard it. Like, give me one with a high. Who got a high body count? I'll take them. I'll treat it right. You've never heard that. We put value in chastity, right? And a woman's self-respect, the way she carries herself, especially as we determine it for the wife role, right? That's the ceiling, that's the roof we're trying to all achieve. Or at least, most people, at least women, want to be validated that way, even if it's not with a traditional marriage. So that's big that you said that. That's how we value it. Women actually value a man's sexual prowess, right? They want the dude who's more experienced that other women want. Usually that dude becomes that desirable by women knowing he can have anybody, or at least many of the women in the group, right? So I believe modern women need to stop confusing that. You're right. We're thinking that their value is in how many dudes, not in how many dudes they can get. Yes, your value is in being desired by many dudes, but not many dudes actually had you. Let's just be clear on that. All right. Who's next? Let's go with the white school. You still there?
Trying to keep up with everything. You
All right.
said
Arrogance.
self-value,
Difference between
arrogance.
arrogance and self-worth.
Woo. Well, I think a lot of women they thrive in the arrogance because they don't have to have the accountability. They don't have to do any self-reflection. Nobody can't tell them nothing. They're equal. They can make as much money as they want. No man can. They have to be like, it's like all ego driven, like every on the outside world, but nothing, like you said, of value, which is on the inside. Because you can portray all these things, lay it all out, but that's not what the man wants. He wants your chastity, but like you said, your sexuality, that superficial aspect of you, the man that's looking for that wife, he can see right through that. And he's just going to bypass you and go to the person that has the self-worth, that put herself aside for somebody special, you know? So it's like we're so driven by what we see, or the modern women, that we're forgetting to tend to what's on the inside, which is that self-value. And then unfortunately some women don't find out until they're late, older, and alone.
Thank you so much for that. All right. Appreciate that. Thank you for stopping by today. You are always welcome. All right. Please make sure you jump on this topic. Your perspective is not only value, but it is necessary. All right. All right. Scam likely. What's the difference between arrogance and self-worth?
Self-worth is what you believe that you're worth. It can become arrogance if you believe you're worth it more than what you are. And it'll affect you in all your ways, starting with communication. Arrogant people don't know how to talk and deal with people. The biggest dark hole in this fake the black population, I refuse to say the word community, population, is communication. These people don't know how to talk to those people. Men, women, rich, poor, ugly versus good looking. People hate each other. They know how to talk to each other. Value is supposed to be real, not just something on display. It's something that's built, not something that's just taught and just went into your mind. There got to be some action to back it up. It's supposed to actually be this that you say that you are, or that you're trying to go attract or go get. It can't be fake. Eventually, it's going to get exposed. Fake husbands and fake wives end up in fake marriages and get divorced, then have to suffer real consequences. Fake daughters, fake wives, fake whatever. Come on, we know. The nation of Wigwam is taking over. Let's be real.
I knew the nation of Wigwam was coming out.
I knew he was going to say it.
I knew it was coming from, because he was dropping so many gems. I knew he had to go back.
Right. I knew it was coming. I swear.
I never heard that one before.
To all my ladies in the nation of Wigwam, I'll sit on a
Let
Wigwam.
me say this.
I wear wigs, okay, Mrs. Scam Likely. But I am bald underneath, and I'm not afraid to wear my bald head. But it's cold up here in Massachusetts, so I got to put on something. You know, I can't wear a hat or beanie all day. But I do.
It's all just jokes. I've been bald since I was 22.
But I ain't going to catfish nobody, because a lot of people out here catfishing. When I went on my first date with the guy I'm courting right now, I went with my bald head. I knew, I got a better understanding of myself, and I said, well, I can't, like you said, catfishes do. I can't be in the nation of Wigwam, so he can see who I really am. Like you said, if you're about that, be about that. And that's what he always saw. He's like, I like you when you don't wear your hair, so he appreciates that. So that's good. So he sees the real me.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I need to correct something the wife school said. You said the guy you're courting, you mean the guy that's courting you.
Oh, yeah.
I was about to say that.
Sorry.
There is one hunter, and then there's the prey. All right.
Thank you for correcting me.
No worries. Like, I hope you're not courting him. Shoot. That's not how we get down around here. All right. So appreciate that. And Dusto, look, man, I know you thrive off being a troll, bro, but when you really get into to the bright side of your mind, man, you be dropping gems. So I encourage you to stay more on that side. Just sometimes stay on that side, bro. You got gems to drop, and I appreciate it. All right, last not least,
Shout out to the Trolluminati. Oh, but go ahead.
there you go. All right, Auntie J, what's the difference between arrogance and self-worth?
I think arrogance is self-centered. It's puffed up and it's boastful. It's ugly. It's not good. So what you say, arrogance and self-centered, it's all about you. They're pretty much synonymous. You so self-centered, you can't even get your self-worth up. Look at what you wear. You could tell a woman's self-worth with what she wears. Okay? And I'll say this again for the people in the back. A man may like to see a woman twerk, but he doesn't want his woman twerking.
A mature man. Let's use the word mature.
Okay, a mature man.
Like to see women twerking. That's why women are confused like hell.
That's why they're confused.
I want his woman on display like that.
Yes, he does not want his woman to.
He wants her elegance on display. He wants her.
That's right. He wants her to be a lady.
He wants her beauty on display. He does not want her sexuality on display.
They want us to be quiet. You hear me, white podcast? After you get the wood right, you better say something that's relevant to them because, baby, rah, 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 rah. That's what it sounds like to them. Because we females, we give details. See Dusto down there?
Yeah, but you said you take your correction from a man, right? So he's just trying to correct because us as wives, depending on, how we are in relationship with our husbands or husband or man, we are a reflection of him. So we got to take that into consideration. And if you're trying to be a wife, he has to look at you as a representation of himself because he has to make that investment into that woman. So
that's right. Mike, thank you so much for having me on your elegant platform with your elegant self and you have a great rest of your day. I'll see you out here on these things.
Thanks for calling me elegant. I ain't been called that.
I didn't call you elegant. I meant debonair. Debonair.
I'm elegant, y'all. All right, man. So I appreciate everybody's input. We're going to close this one out for today. Make sure you stop by tomorrow. The topic will be a little bit different from this, but kind of the same. It's going to be fathers teach their sons how to treat women. All right. So we go from the daughter's worth crisis to the boys, treatment of women crisis. All right. So make sure y'all stay tuned for that. Thank y'all so much for rocking with the show. Thank you for sticking in there with all these technical difficulties. My power is still out, but where there's a will, there's a way. JR found a way to keep the stream going. Thank y'all for staying on and showing your support. Please, we got King Talk tonight. Anywhere after 9, make sure you hit that bell for notifications. Subscribe to the Lapeef Network. Make sure to follow at Trigger Monk Show on all the platforms, all social networks. Rock with me. You can get content and basically the topics that we will be talking on the Lapeef Network at those channels too. All right. Until tomorrow, y'all. Signing off.
I do got one more final thing too. Chaotic with Chaos will be live today. The one and only secret to attract a Black woman. That will be happening at 2 p.m. Central Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. King Talk is at 9 p.m. tonight. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, as Mike said. And thank you, Mike. That was good. Appreciate it. Right, hold on. We did have a couple of super chats. Let me continue super chats real quick. A couple of them. PK Thunderwold 1999 says, all praises to the Mosey High. God bless y'all. And then we also have something from my lady, Kelly Convos 199 says, the Trigger Mike Morning Show. Fire emojis. All right, so salute to you guys for donating. And again, if you're wondering why our Trigger Mike is not on, it's because his power went out, but we were still able to push through. So hit the like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you guys catch Mike in the morning as well. And what's that topic again for tomorrow, Mike?
The topic for tomorrow is Fathers teach their sons how to treat women,
All right, there you go, people.
not mothers.
All right, we out of here. Appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all guys tune in for Chaos with Chaotic tonight. Not tonight, this afternoon, 2 p.m. Central Time. The one and only secret to attract a black woman. Also, King Talk is tonight at 9 p.m. Central Time. Make sure you guys tap in, hit that like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Appreciate you guys' support. Hit that like button.